first got our call, we were at the Virginia Tech Rescue Squad station watching an away football game with their crew, and we were all sitting on the couches together, and call went off for a single vehicle motor collision, and we responded from their station as well as several other units from our station back in town. As I arrived in the first unit on scene, a bystander approached me and said that there were 6 people in the vehicle, and it was kind of a stopped you dead in your track moment, you know, and you had to start thinking much bigger at that point. We called for additional resources from our agency as well as neighboring agencies, Virginia Tech, and we called through our dispatcher to check on the availability of lifeguard and put them in the air if they were available.
You have a lot more things you have to pay attention to. You have to delegate not emergency tasks to your partners next to you. You need to get patient information. You need to get weights. You know, as much information as you can to know where all these LZs are. Are they going to have them set up when they get there, who your ground contacts are, what channels they're going to use, be able to get all that information back to the other aircraft that are coming in also.
The dispatcher said that they had a request for 4 helicopters, I believe, at that time. And at that time, Wings, Carilion Lifeguard 10 and Lifeguard 11 responded, and I believe HealthNet was being paged out also. Once we were airborne, I believe they canceled 1 or 2 of the other helicopters, and so there were 3 helicopters being dispatched to the scene. You know, the crew, once we got on the ground, they've been informed by our dispatch what was going to be happening and who was doing what, and it went very smoothly. And I just stayed hot until my crew came back, and then we loaded up and proceeded to Roanoke Memorial Hospital. It just goes to show you what training does for this type of work. You know, you never have enough training, and it shows on this particular incident. We had 6 patients that needed to get to the hospital. We got 6 patients to the hospital in a timely manner and in a professional manner, and I think that is a big role and a big plus for this organization and the EMS society.
The teamwork was tremendous in this call. Without it, the call wouldn't have gone nearly as smooth as it did. We had lots of different agencies working together, lots of different levels of training too. Without all the different agencies, though, we wouldn't have been able to do it by ourselves.
The teamwork between the different agencies worked very well. I would say that a lot of that is attributed to positive social relationships that we had been building prior to the incident. I know especially between Virginia Tech Rescue Squad and Blacksburg Rescue Squad, we worked very well as a team because we knew each other by name and were able to quickly find equipment that was needed, or were able to be placed in a situation that the incident commander knew we could handle or knew our abilities and capabilities.
What went through my mind was chaos, and it was anything but chaos. Everybody from the get-go responded, worked together, and the outcome was excellent.
We reported the gym, and you could tell they already had like car cut operations going, and so he said he needed some help getting the treatment area set up. And so we went ahead and got all of our cots out of our ambulances and their ambulances and started preparing them. And then we went ahead and got all of our IV supplies, oxygen, and other equipment to help set up a treatment area so that as the patients came out of the car, since there was a prolonged extrication, we could begin treating them immediately.
I've been on a lot of multiple agency responses, and I'd say that was probably one of the best organized responses I believe I've ever been on. Once we got there, the ambulances were all lined up in a row, the stretchers were out, all the equipment were on backboards and ready to go, just waiting to put patients on them. So it was really, whoever was in charge did a really good job of getting everybody organized, all the equipment there and everything, and they really had so many agencies involved. They really did a good job of having everything prepared, and there were a lot of stuff going on, but it was all well organized, and it was a very, very calm scene.
When we were told we were going to be bringing 2 patients, we pretty much this aircraft is set up to take care of 2 patients. All we have to do is bring some straps up from the back and to strap the patient down onto the secondary side of the aircraft. Level 1 Trauma Center was critical for these patients for a time. They were hurt, they were injured, and they needed access to a physician quickly.
Actually, the trauma room was full when Lifeguard 10 landed with both of our patients. We had called ahead. They have 4 extra ancillary rooms that they can open up for us, and we were placed in the ancillary rooms. They had physicians, pharmacists, nurses on standby and ready, and they were organized kind of like the scene was. They had a team for each patient that was prepared. So it was pretty calm and quiet, and they kept the entire situation really quiet. That way we could hear what was going on, and since there were so many of us coming in, so it ran really well. It was really smooth.
It's very important to have lifeguard in this area because you have a lot of rural areas like this one where the patients were at, and it could be a long transport time to the hospital, and you can have helicopters to the scene and have the patient transported to the hospital in 15 minutes or less. The extreme organization that they had at the scene, of all my years of work in EMS, it's clearly one of the most organized and well-run scenes with multiple agencies. They had the instant command system set up, and it was run flawlessly.